Hmm. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Audio is fine. Good. Ah. What's up, everyone? My name is Monochronicle, and today we're checking out a creepypasta called 12 Minutes. I'm doing this in a slightly commentary oriented format, which, if you're familiar, if blah, I need to get my English straight first. If you're familiar with podcasts like The Casual Criminalist and Into the Unknown, Decoding the Unknown. What? God damn. I'm I'm kind of sleepy. It's 12:53 a.m. right now. So, but I want to do it now because when I'm sleepy, that kind of brings out a more talkative version of myself, I guess. So that's when it's better to record videos, you know. But yeah, if you're familiar with those two podcasts, The Casual Criminalist and Decoding the Unknown, you'll know that it's a sort of like format where I read the script and then I give some input or commentary on stuff that's happening, or if I feel like it, or just talk about random stuff whenever I feel like it, basically. So it's a very casual reading format. That's not like narration or anything. It's not narration. It's more like me directly telling you guys a story, and then talking over it as well. I don't know. Maybe I'm recording it with my phone just to get a better quality. But if it doesn't work and the videos become too long and the storage space is too much and all that shit, so that it's not an ideal way to record, I'll just go back to recording with my laptop camera, which no one wants, but I'll have to if that's the case. But yeah, am I still recording? Yes, I am. That is very good. And I'm talking low because I have the microphone close to my mouth and I don't want to, clip or anything, because the volume is set to 80 right now just to make it audible, like properly audible, without me having to raise the volume in post. So yeah, let's begin. Fuck. In the fall of 1987, local news channel WSB TV2 of Atlanta, Georgia, was attempting to fill a scheduling gap in their damn it in their Sunday morning lineup. After a few solicitations by local business owners, they decided to allow the young Reverend Marley Sachs to take the available hour blocks to do a religiously themed show. It premiered October. Kill me now, please. It premiered October 18th with little promotion. The show was standard religious fare and consisted of the Reverend sitting in a simple chair, reading passages from the Bible to the camera and discussing their interpretation and significance to our modern day-to-day life. The show received a reasonable number of viewers and continued to be shown into early December. It was then that the studio began to receive extremely strange complaints from viewers of Words of Light with the Reverend Marley Sachs. The calls were from women, and women only, who vaguely referred to uncomfortable feelings they had at very specific intervals during the program. They described feelings of nausea, back pain, dizziness, and blurred vision. These callers, for no discernible reason, were convinced that it was the viewing of this program that was causing these symptoms. It was later determined, after 3 weeks of complaints, that these feelings were happening at roughly 12-minute intervals during the course of the program. The small the small studio staff checked all recording equipment, both audio and video, and found nothing faulty. When the Reverend was made aware of these incidents, he merely shrugged and stated cryptically that some can't handle the voice of God. The head of the studio at a loss to explain the cause of these complaints, decided to continue running the program. By February, viewership had dropped sharply, and it was decided to pull the plug on the show. The studio had figured it would be more prudent to spend as much time as possible on the news story that had the other two local news networks The studio had figured it would be more prudent to spend as much time as possible on the news story that had the other two local news networks abuzz. The miscarriage epidemic, starting sometime in November, the number of healthy pregnant women miscarrying in the Atlanta. Starting sometime in November, the number of healthy pregnant women miscarrying in the Atlanta metropolitan area had reached over 300. The CDC could find no discernible cause for this terrifying occurrence. The Reverend took the show's cancellation with what could only be described as abject indifference. When informed, he made no protest, merely nodded, almost knowingly. He left the studio after the last episode was filmed without so much as a word, and dropped off the face of the earth. No one ever heard from him again, not his former congregation, or any member of the church. The studio moved on, filling the slot with an infomercial, and continued to concentrate on the miscarriage story. A year and a half later, an intern at the WSB studios discovered the tapes of Words of Light and began going through them in an attempt to find stock footage for an upcoming piece the station was doing on the impact religion had on the city. The Atlanta incident, as the miscarriage epidemic became known in medical journals, petered out 3 months after the studio canceled Reverend Sack's show, and had already begun to fade. From the public consciences. Consciences, yes. Yeah. As the intern went through the tapes, he accidentally made a disturbing discovery about the footage. While attempting to stop one recording at 10 minutes and 45 seconds, he mistakenly jammed the fast forward button down. While the footage whizzed by, he attempted to pry the button with a screwdriver. Fuck me. While the footage whizzed by, he attempted to pry the button with a screwdriver. This is really how recordings go for me. It's like several fucking minutes of, there's a picture attached in this creepypasta. Ew, that's so fucking disturbing. God damn it. Fuck me. I don't like this. Yeah, but this is usually how recordings go. It's just like, I just record stuff, fuck up, re-record a line, or just start over from a line and then just edit the mistake out. I don't want to I just want to keep shit unedited and as casual as possible from now on, to give my creepypasta narrations a unique flair, I feel. Just do them this way. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, he attempted to pry the button up with a He attempted to pry the fast forward button up with a screwdriver. Just as he succeeded, the tape stopped at 32 minutes and 1 second. The intern actually fell out of his chair when he looked up at what was frozen on the screen. Jesus. The intern actually fell out of his chair when he looked up at what was frozen on the screen. The image of a badly decomposed, severed head filling up the entire frame. After he collected himself, he moved the film back a few frames, then forward, and realized that his mind was not playing tricks on him. He began going through the rest of the recording and soon discovered that at exactly 12 minute intervals, the image would appear for one frame. thinking it's some practical joke being played on the new guy, he presented it to one of the film technicians, ready to be mocked. The technician was just as puzzled as him. No one had touched the footage since the cancellation of the show. After the studio had closed for the night, the intern convinced the tech to help him go through all the tapes at Words of Light. They discovered that every single episode had this same horrifying anomaly. They also realized that as the show progressed, the image had become more disgusting as maggots began to eat away at the loose flesh and pieces of hair and skin. As maggots began to eat away at the loose flesh and pieces of hair and skin seemed to have fallen off exponentially. The tech made clear to the intern that what they were seeing was technically impossible since the film itself showed absolutely no signs of splicing, and he himself had been at every filming of the show and knew of no time when this image could have been inserted into the frame. All of this was presented to the studio head, who, fearing some kind of backlash over allowing this to get on the air, ordered all tapes destroyed. He told the intern and tech that he had no interest in knowing who did it at this point, only that covering their collective asses is all that's important now. For some reason, like, I'm picturing studio head saying that verbatim, like that we need to cover our collective asses. Like that, all that's important is that we need to cover our collective asses, and I can't stop picturing that, and it's funny as hell because it's so informal. He demanded that they mention this to no one. The tech easily moved on. The tech easily moved on, remembering the incident as a darkly funny personal anecdote, but the intern wouldn't let it go. He made copies of as many tapes as he could before they were wiped, and took them to see if it could find anything else in them that might point to who did this or why they would. A week later, God damn it, I can't read. A week later, he attempted to rope the tech into helping it again, saying that he believed he had discovered something even more disturbing than the image themselves. When the single frames were edited together in chronological order, the head's mouth appeared to be moving as if trying to form words. The tech, fearing for his job, told him to get rid of the tapes, to get rid of the copies, and not talk about it again. A week later, police responded to a 911. No, 911. 911. God damn it! Why? No. A week later, police responded to a 911 call. Why? A week later, police responded. I'm sorry. I hate when I fuck up. A week later, police holy fuck, is this the fourth time I've been... A week later, police responded to a 911 call made by an elderly woman in one of the Atlanta suburbs at dusk. She'd heard horrible noises coming from her next-door neighbor's house where a young couple lived. She told the emergency responder that the wife was pregnant and that she was terrified that something had happened. When the officers arrived on the scene 20 minutes later, they found no lights on and the windows and the front door ajar. They moved in slowly and made their way into the living room. Inside, they found a young woman dead with her abdomen slashed open. The wound was jagged and a trail of blood led from the body to the couch on the far end of the room. There sat her husband, the studio intern, naked, the corpse of his unborn child at his feet, dying. In his hand, he held the rusty piece of metal siding he had used to gut his pregnant wife. The television was on and playing an 18-second loop of silent footage of a decomposing head mouthing some unintelligible words. The story at the police precinct to this day goes that the intern kept saying under his breath over and over again as they led him away, "The light of God calls them." Alright, that's 12 minutes. Written by RoboKai. Oh, that was. I feel like the ending here was kind of abrupt. like, it kind of came out like with the fact that the intern killed his pregnant wife and all that stuff came like. I feel like it came like out of nowhere. There was nothing leading up to it. Like there was nothing insinuating that that would happen, and I feel like a good twist or a good like catcher needs to be alluded to. Like you can't just do this. Like it needs to be so that you second second readings or viewings you can kind of see that, or like you can kind of, when you know where it's headed, you can read the story and be like, oh yeah, like you can see like sort of foreshadowings and stuff. Like a good twist shouldn't just happen like that. It needs to be built up. You know, it can't come out of nowhere. Like there needs to be some ground for it to be built on, you know. Like and I'm not a professional writer or anything, but it's like you kind of you can't just like you can't just fucking do that, you know. Because there was nothing that would make you anticipate something like this to happen, or there was nothing leading up to that this specifically would happen. And I'm not saying that you should make it obvious throughout the story that, oh, it's going to end like that, but I'm just saying like leaving some hints of how the story could possibly, like how it could end. Like don't like don't make it don't make the twist come out of nowhere, but don't make it obvious. Like make it ambiguous and vague, but make sure that it's there so that you can, on later rereadings, pick up on certain things. Now that you know how it ends, you can pick up on things that you didn't realize on your first reading, you know? I feel like that's a good way to go about it. And I mean, if there's any writers here that can disprove that or tell me like why, for example, that might actually not be a good idea, then please fucking do. I mean, please tell me if what I suggested was a good idea, because I don't know. I just feel like for me personally that would be a good thing. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this format that I want to keep doing. If and I want to keep doing it, and if you guys want it, I'm definitely gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna do it one more time, and I'm gonna do it a couple more times, and if the reception isn't all that well, I'll just go back to the old stuff. Actually, no, I won't. I'm gonna keep doing it anyways, because this channel is just me doing what I want to do. You know, if y'all don't like it, you can get the fuck out. I don't care. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. I will love you and leave you. Oyasumi nasai.